Lows and Highs of Adrien Agreste, the Miraculous Ladybug fanfiction written by Black Cat's Butterflies. Voice and record, Harpsigirl. Chapter 2. Summary. Marinette was on a mission to help her friend. If Adrien was hurting, she couldn't let him go through it alone. She just needs a little bit of help. Thank God Nino's so gullible. Trigger warning. Mentions of drugs, no one does them, and child abuse, though nothing actually happens and it's in like one sentence. Tiki! Marinette, I really don't think that Adrien is on drugs. Then explain this, she held up the needle. I mean, Adrien has always been a little bit depressed, especially recently, but I never thought he would have resorted to this. Marinette, really? Oh my God! She screamed, pacing her bedroom. She was going to run a hole in her floor if she kept this up. This is why he got so sick. And the teachers just let him to do it? Marinette! Tiki yelled, flying in front of her face. Adrien is not doing drugs. The Kwame sighed. Something else must be going on. That's not the Adrien you know. You need more evidence before you just start to jump to conclusions. Marinette took a breath. You're right, Tiki. I shouldn't assume without proof. Maybe you should just ask him what's going on. I'm going to search his back, she declared. What? No, Marinette, I didn't mean... Tiki flew after her as she marched to her trapdoor. This isn't a good idea. I'll be fine, don't worry so much. What if he catches you? I just linger behind when everyone goes to the gym, Marinette said confidently, holding out her hands for her Kwame to land in. I'm doing this to protect him. She spoke more seriously now. Adrien needs help. He's the kindest person I know, and I'm scared for what's to come if he keeps this up. Like I said, Marinette, Tiki repeated. You really think Adrien would do something like this? No, Marinette sighed. But if there's even the smallest chance that he's harming his body, I have to help him. She turned to her collage of photos. Over the past year, her magazine clippings had been replaced by authentic pictures and candids. She had grown more comfortable over that time too. And she felt confident in the fact that he trusted her. The photos reflected him as a person. She liked it better that way. Liked seeing him as himself and not just an idol. Liked seeing him real. Happy. She wouldn't let the drugs interfere with that. Adrien could be hurting, feeling lost and scared. Maybe he's been silently crying for help. Maybe he's drowning and doesn't know how to come up for air. Tiki tilted her head. What happens if you find something? I'll speak to him before anyone else, Marinette promised. Just to make sure there's no other explanation. And if you don't? I'll leave it alone. Tiki flew back out of her holder's hands. You'll be quick? Marinette nodded. In and out. Quick and easy. Turns out it was in fact not very quick or easy to check his back. Adrien took that thing everywhere. Everywhere. He brought it to gym, to the cafeteria, to the nurse and the bathroom. Heck, he even brought it into the hallway when Miss Bastier took him aside to speak with him. There was no way she would get her hands on that bag anytime soon. But if there was something going on, the longer she waited, the worse things could become. Marinette wrung her hands, weighing her options. Just confront Adrien and risk him lying to her. Ask Alia or Nino for help. And possibly accidentally spread a rumor around. Have Tiki to check his back. Maybe a Kwame shouldn't be flying into other people's belongings. It was a dead end. Unless her friends don't know they're helping? Nino! Marinette ran up the steps to catch him before Adrien arrived. Actually, waking up on time for school instead of sleeping through 4 alarms had been a challenge. She bumped into him, and he had to steady her at the shoulders. Whoa, do that! He raised an eyebrow. You good? Why the rush? I gotta talk to you. Marinette took a step out of his personal space. You have a sec? Yeah, sure, Nino prompted her. What's up? Okay, so she trailed off, thinking of how to approach this. You know how I maybe have like this small crush on Adrien? Nino snorted. What? Small crush? He raised an eyebrow. You mean being totally, completely in love with him? Shut up, Marinette muttered. As I was saying, I wanna leave a note in his bag, but he always seems to be carrying it around with him. Do you think you could, like, distract him? You mean that little one he brings everywhere? He asked, and she nodded. I mean, probably, but why not just put it in his satchel? Well, heck, she hadn't thought that far ahead. Well, you see, come on, you're ladybug, you lie all the time. I did try that, actually. And it didn't work? No, Marinette shook her head. I saw him accidentally throw it out when he was cleaning out his bag. I don't think he checks the papers in it enough. But he always has that little one with him, Nino finished for her. So he'll be more likely to see it. Got it. Okay, she hated saying this, because Nino had been her friend since preschool, but he was actually pretty gullible, like concerningly so. But Marinette wasn't about to complain. Yeah, exactly, she said as they watched Adrien's car pull up to the curve. I gotcha do that. Nino ruffled her hair, and she smiled gratefully. I'll do it right before lunch. Thank you, Nino, she said. You're the best. No problem. Just then, Adrien started walking up to them. He looked so tired. Concealer that just barely covered the bags placed under his eyes, a weak smile gracing his face. Hair that, actually extremely cute, was messier than usual. Hey guys, he said, trying to put on his best happy face, and Marinette and Nino shared a look. Hi, Adrien, she greeted him as he reached them. How'd you sleep? His eyes widened just the smallest bit. Was there panic in his gaze? Before he responded, Great. Best sleep I've gotten in weeks. Marinette was not convinced. Well, that's good. What's up, dude? Nino gave him a fist bump. Adrien returned it weakly. You wanna head inside? The blonde said to them. You two go ahead, I'm going to wait for Alia. Oh, okay, he smiled. Wait, first, Adrien? He turned to her. She hesitantly gave him a hug, and after stiffening a bit in surprise, he melted into it. Why so affectionate today, Marie? I just want you to know I care about you, she said. And that I'm always here for you if you need me. She gave him another squeeze and looked up at him, and if she wasn't mistaken, his eyes were a bit wet. Flash. The two pulled apart and looked at Nino, who had his phone out. Sorry, he chuckled. Flash was on. Adrien gave him a weird look, and Marinette snorted, knowing that the photo was most likely going to Alia. Adrien squeezed her shoulder. Thank you, Marinette. And the boys walked off. She smiled a goofy smile before shaking her head, remembering that this moment wasn't about her. It was about helping her friend. Tiki? She opened her purse to whisper to her Kwame. Yes? I'm getting really worried, she said. He looked so tired today. I wonder what happened last night. Well, that's why you're gonna check things out, right? And Marinette nodded. Don't worry, we'll figure it out. She zipped her purse back up as she saw Alia approaching. Yep, she sighed to herself. I just want him to be okay. If Adrien was on drugs, then they were screwing with his sleeping habits now too, and she was determined to help him. Did you actually take a photo of us hugging? Adrien asked his friend as they walked to the locker room. Nino just smirked. Yeah, he said, as if there was no reason whatsoever not to take a picture. Gotta send it to my girl. You know how much she ships the two of you. Adrien felt the blush slowly appear on his cheeks. You want a copy? No, he said as his blush bled to his ears. Yes, he whispered, and Nino chuckled. I'll send you one right now. Adrien yawned. He was really tired today. He didn't have a great night. Fun fact, when your blood sugar is too high, you wet the bed. Fun, right? It's your body's way of getting rid of all the sugar in your bloodstream. Water flush it out, it collects in your urine. Ew. And you have to use a bathroom a lot. Who knew that whether you're potty trained or not, sometimes you can't hold it back when you're unconscious. This happened a lot before he went to the hospital. He was constantly thirsty, but he's never had an accident before. His father wasn't very pleased when he woke Natalie up at 1 a.m. because he wasn't kidding when he told Lydia he didn't know how a washing machine worked. Honest to God, he was surprised his father didn't hit him. He was so furious. Natalie said she had been doing some research and this was just a little thing that happens sometimes, even to adult diabetics. So Adrien gets to look forward to this for the rest of his life. Again, fun, right? After Gabriel was done with his tantrum, Natalie helped him strip his sheets, as well as put clean ones back on, and took them down to the wash. But he couldn't rest after that. What if it happened again? Plaque helped to calm him down, but it was really no use. He didn't end up sleeping a wink. "Sand," Nino said, snapping him out of his thoughts. "So, when are you gonna ask out Marinette?" His blush came back in a full force. Nino!" His friend just chuckled as they reached their lockers. He opened his and put a few things away. "Stop worrying, I'm pretty sure she likes you." After the past few weeks of crushing on Marinette, and for watching her every move, he was confident to say that maybe Nino was right. He definitely noticed her soft blushes and goofy smile whenever they were in close contact. She laughed at all his jokes, yes, even the stupid puns, and sometimes she even playfully bantered. He seemed to be the first person she looked at when she entered the room, and more often than not, her attention remained on him. Yeah, I think so." He scratched the back of his neck. "Maybe?" He shut the locker door and turned to face his friend. Nino's eyes were impossibly wide and his jaw was practically on the floor. Nino?" Sorry. He shook his head. You're not damp anymore?" "What?" You figure it out," Nino mused. "You actually figure it out." "Figure it out?" Adrien raised an eyebrow, and the boys made their way to the classroom as the warning bell rang. "What was this, some kind of huge secret for months or something?" he joked. A rush of exhaustion ran over him and he tried to wipe the tiredness from his eyes. "Right." Adrien stopped dead in his track, suddenly awake. "Nino?" he asked. "Did you know that Marinette likes me?" So I can't confirm or deny anything since I would like to remain alive," he said. "Marinette may be little, but she's also scary." Adrien blinked. "Marinette likes me. Marinette likes me?" A huge smile crept its way onto his face. "Like I said," Nino shrugged, "cannot confirm nor deny the theory. However," he patted Adrien on the back and encouraged him to keep walking, "I will ask you this again. When are you gonna ask her out?" He wiggled his eyebrows suggestively. Adrien's heart felt like it was going to burst. Marinette, beautiful, brave, talented Marinette had a crush on him. Sweet, confident, creative Marinette wanted to go out with him. Him! He turned to Nino with a huge grin. "As soon as..." Wait. Marinette had a crush on him now, yes. And that was exciting. Really, really exciting. But now there was this whole other layer to everything. T1D might just stand between them. Ignoring the fact that he just went, and is still going, through a huge lifestyle change Marinette didn't even know. No one did. According to Gabriel, type 1 diabetes ruined the image for his brand. Adrien Agreste was no longer perfect, and once the media found out, he'd be kicked to the curb. A model wasn't supposed to take shots every time they ate. They weren't supposed to accidentally get blood on their jeans from pricking their fingers. Models shouldn't have a bad breath from high blood sugar. They don't have poor circulation or dry skin either. And they don't wet the bed. He was too overwhelmed to even consider being in a relationship with anyone anymore. And on top of that, once she found out, Marinette wouldn't want him. Adrien stuttered. I don't think now's a good time. That's okay, Nino smiled. Maybe Marinette will ask you out, he said with a weird tone of voice. He hoped not. Adrien would rather bath in the fact that she liked him for a little longer before ultimately having to let her go. Yeah, he said. Maybe.